Hello everybody, Joe Bag Donuts here, and welcome back for another episode of One. This time we're starting our last route here. I don't even remember his name. Hikami Shun. Ooh, so mysterious. Mysterious because we've literally never seen him or heard anything about him. Much like Mayu. So hopefully it's not as weird as Mayu's route was. I don't even know how long this will be. The reason we're starting here is because I was just going to skip through, like, everything until we, got to him. But, I started clicking on some stuff. I'm like, oh man, these are some really long unread scenes. So, yeah, here we go. We're going to eat at Nagamori's desk. This is like the day after we fucking bumped into Nanase on the street for the first time. I'm not crazy about the idea of eating at a girl's desk, but I guess it's okay under the circumstances. Okay, let's do that. I follow Nagamori as she skips her way back to her seat. But on the way, we're stopped by my friend Sumi, friend in fucking big quotation marks. No, I'm just about to eat now. Huh? Are you serious? In what? I'll refrain from asking what it was he won at. Okay then, let's go. A lunch paid for by Sumi doesn't come along every day, and I can always eat this cafeteria bread tomorrow. I decide to graciously take him up on his offer. Now then, what to do with this bread? Well, this tea and bread would only get in the way if I carried them around. Oh, I know. Nagamori, let me leave these with you. Nagamori's seat just happens to be right there in front of me, so I dump them onto her desk. Don't eat them yourself now. That's my lunch for tomorrow. Yeah, so how much do I get to eat? I leave the classroom while chatting with Sumi. Poor Nagamori. Sumi just talks on and on and on. So, in the end, I spend the whole lunchtime in the cafeteria. It's the beginning of the afternoon classes. Regardless of the subject, well, with the inevitable exception of PE, I make it a rule to sleep through the first class of the afternoon. The tests are coming up pretty soon, though. It'd probably be a good idea to pay attention. But then again, I am sleepy. Devise a plan. There's no helping it. I'll tie the end of Nanase's hair to my fingertips. This way, if I doze off and fall over, I'll end up pulling Nanase's hair. Given what happened just a while ago, there's no way I'll walk away from that unscathed. The pressure from having the terrible threat hanging constantly over my head should be enough to keep me wide awake. That's a wonderful plan. Seizing the initiative, I immediately put it into action. Grasping Nanase's flowing locks in one hand, I tie them firmly to my finger. Now I'll be able to focus on listening to the class. Turn my gaze towards the blackboard. Zzz. Crap! I move swiftly. Giving Nanase's hair an almighty tug with my finger, I manage to bring it loose. The class's attention falls upon Nanase, the source of the short yelp. What's gonna happen now? At last, the interested looks disperse, and the room falls silent once more. Damn it. I guess the tension from that half-hearted, easily untied knot wasn't enough to keep me awake. Time to take more daring measures. I wind Nanase's hair tightly around my wrist, naturally taking plenty of care so that she doesn't notice. How she wouldn't notice that is beyond me, but okay. There, that ought to hold. Now, if I were to fall asleep, the weight of my arms would cause Nanase's hair to rip, shh. Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. The pressure from having that terrible threat hanging constantly over my head should be enough to keep me wide awake. This time for sure. Okay, time to focus on the class. Shh. Once again, I move swiftly. A concerned voice issues from the neighboring aisle.
何にも。先生、七瀬さん泣いてます。
おいどうした何事だ
何誰だ泣かせたのは
The clamor in the classroom was already escalating out of control.
何でもありません。
This has gone beyond a joke. I untie the hair from around my wrists and drop it onto the floor. Oh my god. Even I'd hesitate to take things any further than this. If I get drowsy, then I'll just graciously submit to sleep. In the end, the fuss around the Nanase keeps me wide awake. Mission accomplished.
来てくれる？
After class, Nanase turns to face me without even taking her seat. Yeah. I've already prepared myself for this, so I follow after her without questions.
あれ？二人でどこ行くの？
Gonna go get my teeth fucking kicked in. On the way, we pass by Nagamori. Nagamori, I'm counting on you to cover for me afterwards. Probably won't be in any shape to turn up to class for the next period onwards.
何されると思ってるの？
Huh?
とにかく来なさい。
She drags me along by the arm. As we come out into the corridor, Nanase stops and turns to face me.
ねえ、どういうつもりよ、一体。
Well, a lot's happened, so I'm not sure which incident you're talking about.
全部よ。
Well, I will apologize for mistaking this for a lynching.
そんな些細なこと言ってない。もっとひどいことしてるでしょ。人の髪を何だと思ってるの？
Look, I'm sorry about using it as a sleep prevention measure.
そんなことに使ってたの？
I get the feeling I'm just pouring fuel onto the fire here.
それで女の子の髪抜いたりするなんて。
Yes. Look, I apologize. I'm sorry.
怒りを通り越して呆れたも通り越してもう一回怒りに戻ってきたわ。
That's pretty deft of you.
もういい。わかったわ。あなたの性格が。
I'm starting to get an idea of what you're like too.
とにかく席を入れ替える。それだけで今日のことは水に流してあげるわ。
Sure, if that's what you really want.
何よ、含みも出せた言い方して。
You know, at the beginning of the year, my seat was at the head of the aisle.
それで？
Well, it's a strange thing, but since then, I've been driven further and further back.
どうして？
What do you think?
さあ、見当もつかないけど。
Well, let's make this a three-way multiple choice question. 1. Blatantly turning around and cheating during tests. 2. Falling asleep in class and using the table behind me as a pillow. 3. Constant and unrestrained flatulence.
却下。席は今のままでいいわ。
What's wrong? Aren't you gonna answer?
どれが正解でも却下するに十分よ。
Just so you know, the answer was...
聞きたくない。
Really?
ああ、もうどうしてこんなやつの前の席になっちゃったんだろう。
I'm leaning for 2.
最悪。
I can hear you loud and clear, you know.
とにかくもうちょっかいかけないで。
Yeah, just leave it to me.
どういう返事よ。
Still looking irritated, she returns to the classroom.
おい二人で何話してたんだよ
I don't know what to say. She just told me she loves me.
こら。
She whispers in a subdued voice, turning around and fixing me with a glare. Haha, just kidding, guys. If I anger her any further, I really will get lynched next time. Actually, she asked me to recommend a brand of cigarettes for beginner smokers. Something with menthol. Once again, Nanase pulls me outside into the corridor.
ねえ、一回殴っていい？
I bet it really hurts, so please don't.
ねえ、あなた流の冗談なのかもしれないけど、全然笑えないから。
Out of the corner of her mouth, the corner of her mouth is quivering. I don't know. I thought it was pretty funny.
凶悪に面白くないわよ。
That's a pretty incredible way to put it. Yeah, I can read. I didn't just like stop focusing and just my brain just turned off for a second in the middle of a sentence. Sighing once more, she returns to the classroom. There's a somewhat teasing note to his voice.
そんなこと全然ないのよ。
Ah, that's right. It's not true at all. In fact, she just threatened to hit me. Once again, she thrust me out into the corridor.
やっぱ殴るわ。
Actually, I thought that last one was pretty funny.
殺人的に面白くないわよ。
Yet another incredible expression.
もう一回転校しようかな。
She heads back inside, shoulders slumped. And I think now we're back to things we've seen. Yep. So now you guys are stuck along for the ride because I just woke up like 20 minutes ago and I don't feel like doing any editing tonight. So, you're getting the unfiltered, uncut, me just skipping around and choosing answers following the guide. So yeah. What does it turn up? Club activities. Club activities. Technically speaking, I'm a ghost member of a certain club, but that club itself is pretty much turned into a ghost ship. I'll probably arrive to find the place deserted. Walking down the empty corridors, I make my way towards the other school building, which I rarely visit. Wow, it looks exactly the same. The special classrooms, like the art room and music rooms, are all concentrated within the first and second floors of this building. The place I'm heading for is one of the cultural club rooms located along the third floor. I stand in front of the obviously empty club room and open the door. As I do, I see a lone, unfamiliar girl in the corner of the room I had presumed was empty. Well, a comic-esque encounter like that would have made it worth my while to walk all the way here, but reality is not quite so dramatic. This is ridiculous. I knew from the beginning that there'd be no one here, but I regret my decision to come anyway. I leave through the door, which I had left wide open. Incidentally, this is the Light Music Club. Then which club was Nagamori a part of? I forget. Doesn't matter. I hear the supervising teacher established it 3 years ago in order to create a big band to rival that of any other school. But ultimately, having seen so many members join with mistaken notions of what the club was, it seems he lost all motivation, resulting in the club's current all but defunct state. Even now, I still have no idea what a big band is. Frankly, it was all beyond me after I found out that light music meant jazz. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Usually it's like a big jazz band where they have a big brass section. Changing my shoes at the shoe shelf and passing through the entrance doors, I cross the quiet after-class courtyard towards the school gates. Sleep in the closet like you always do because we might be in the closet for this route. Present? Yeah, stuffed cat. Say hello. Ugh. I feel so sleepy. Maybe it's because I didn't get any proper rest last night after going to sleep in that weird posture. Times like this, I'd wake up in an instant if the teacher asked me a question, but alternatively, I suppose I could immerse myself in some kind of trivial task. Look for an immersive trivial task, sure. Trivial task I can immerse myself in, huh? Start like disassembling your pencil or something. Like down to like the base components, take the springs out and reassemble it. Oh. I discovered some split ends in Nanase's hair, which hangs right in front of me. Sheesh, there's no helping that girl. I'm sure I've got a pair of craftwork scissors here somewhere. I pulled them out from behind the pile of printouts amassed inside my desk. Picking out the split ends from Nanase's hair, I set about cutting them off. Oh, got a little too much there. Now the right side's shorter than the left. It's not easy getting the right balance. Every time I cut the left side, it becomes shorter than the right, and vice versa. There, that should do it. Oh, fuck. Accidentally right-clicked on my mouse. Huh? Hua! I was so caught up in my task that before I know it, class is over. I would have been better off just going to sleep.
あれ七瀬さんなんかすっきりしたね。え？なんかお下げが短くなったみたい。
Aw, crap, you idiot! Don't mention that!
そんなことあるわけ。あ、
Her gaze moves downwards, coming to a stop at the point directly beneath her seat. Gah! Scattered there is the hair which I had mercilessly cut off only moments ago. Yeah, it was seriously disgusting to watch. I just happened to be looking at your hair when all of a sudden it started to tear itself up and fall off.
七瀬さん病気？
Once again, I'm thrust out into the corridor.
妖怪か、私は。
Hey, it was the first time I'd seen something like that happen too.
あんたが切ったんでしょ。いつから私の席は床屋になったのよ。
Well, from the sounds of it, he did a good job. Surprisingly. Well, you had a lot of split ends, so...
女の子の髪の毛切るなんて。
Sorry, but I'm actually aiming to become a barber. I've got a certain degree of pride in my work, you know?
プライドあるやつがこっそり人を練習台に使うな、アホ。
Ugh.
もう金輪際私の髪の毛に触らないでいい？
Yeah, I get it.
放っておいたら放課後にはショートカットになってたところだわ。
With one last roar, just one of many, she returns to the classroom. Where we worked my way into the crowd. Met with the dreary sight of the crowded cafeteria, I pick out some bread at random and take a seat. In the end, I get the feeling that it's just as noisy here as it is back in my own seat. Having caught sight of me, Sumi makes his way over, violently plunking his tray down on the table and taking the seat facing mine. Yeah, because you have no friends in class. I'll start inviting you next time. He begins to rake his daily special. As a sign of our friendship, I'll peel this for you so that you can eat it more easily. Our trivial exchange continues through lunchtime. Are we going to club activities? We're going to club activities. Fine. Let's go to club activities then.
そうそう、やっぱ学生は部活に打ち込むべきよ。
Yeah, see you later. I quickly turn my back on her and head out of the classroom. Club activities, huh? Walking down the empty corridors, I make my way towards the other school building, which I so rarely visit. Sitting in front of the club room, I slide the door open. As I do, I see a lone, unfamiliar boy in the corner of the room I had assumed was empty. Oh, actually was this time. Hello. Man, your, tie thing is really messed up. It's more like an ascot, I guess. I've mentioned this before, that their uniform's kind of weird. Not bad weird, it's just a cardigan and ascot is, a little dated. His skin is white like that of a girl, and his hair is pale to match. What? Oh, he's a handsome bugger, too. It's almost as if he just leapt from the pages of a girl's comic. Hey. I decided to return his salutation. Since he's here, he's probably a member of the Light Music Club, but I don't recall seeing his face before. Going to do what? What kind of nonsense is this guy spouting? Practice? Now? After all this time? I'm sure you can see how things are here. I forget practice. We don't even have a supervising teacher.
顧問なんか必要ないさ。一人でさえなかったら合わせられる。
What's this guy talking about?
君だってそのために来たんじゃないのかい？
I'm getting some fucking Karu vibes from this dude. You know, Evangelion. Hopefully it doesn't end the same way. Huh? Oh, I'm surprised you know my name.
だって初対面じゃないんだよ。僕ら
Have we met somewhere before?
最初にこう言うべきだったかな。やあ、久しぶりとね。
This guy shares a roundabout way of speaking. Where was it that we met anyhow?
入部したての頃。
You mean in first year?
そう。もう随分と時間が経つね。
Ah, no wonder I don't remember.
どうして？
We only saw each other for a moment, but there were so many other people back then.
覚えてないのかい？
No, not at all.
僕は覚えているよ。だって僕と同じ目をしてたからね。
Same eyes?
僕は氷上俊。そんなに時間はないかもしれないけど、よろしく。
Yeah, likewise. Time? Don't know what he means by that, but I get the feeling that there's something deep behind his words. Are you transferring to another school or something?
いや、あくまでも予感だよ。それは。君が僕と同じ目をしているとは言ってるけど、根拠なんかない。そんな気がするだけ。
Another eternity boy, huh? Like fucking stand users, they attract each other. Somehow, talking to you really wears me out.
そうかい？なら、今日はもう話すのはよしておくかい？
Today? We haven't run into each other before up until today. You might never have the chance to talk again, you know.
僕はここにいるさ。話がしたくなったら来てくれよ。
I've got no business coming to this club in the first place. I won't be coming back.
それは早計だな。僕は君の奏でる音も聞いてみたい。相性がわかるのはその時じゃないかな。
Yeah, what instrument do you play, Orihara? You seem like a guitar kind of guy. But maybe not. I don't know. I'm not going to play anything, and I'm not interested in knowing my compatibility with some creepy guy. Bye. I step out into the corridor through the door, which I had left wide open.
君とはまた会えると思うよ。
His voice is the last thing I hear before I leave. Go back to sleep. Hello, hurry to the classroom. Let's get a move on, Nagamori. I call out to her as she's still changing her shoes.
ちょっと待って。
She hurriedly puts on her slippers and dashes to my side. Finally got up early for once today, so it'd be really stupid if I end up being late.
まだ時間があるから大丈夫だよ。
Yeah, I guess you're right. Checking that Nagamori has arrived beside me, I start walking down the corridor. I take a glance back at the entrance hall. Classmate of mine appears, holding a familiar-looking pink umbrella. Her eyes lowered, she quietly makes her way to her shoebox. Behind her, the seasonal rain continues falling with the same forcefulness. Surrounded by the huge droplets of rain, in an empty place, there she stood, looking as though she was about to cry. At least, that's how it seemed to me.
浩平、どうしたの？
This rain is terrible.
そうだね。
Failing to catch the meaning behind my words, Nagamori gives a vague nod in reply. Let's go. Turning my gaze away from Satomura, I head towards the classroom. Nagamori follows behind. Seeing no different from yesterday or any day before. But there's no sign of the homeroom teacher as we arrive in class. Exchanging casual greetings with my classmates, I take my seat. Tossing my rain-soaked bag aside, I turn to see Satomura coming into the classroom. Our eyes meet. Looking away as though nothing had happened, she heads to her own seat. Oh, so that's where her seat is. I hadn't even known that much about her until now. Just then, Hige appears through the same doorway, and another day begins. Ask her about this morning. Go home with someone. Hey, Sumi! I stopped Sumi just as he's putting his bag on. I want to grab something to eat at the shopping district on the way home. Damn. Have you come up with another one of your stupid projects? His face splits wide open in a meaningful smile as he strikes a cool pose. I won't bother asking him how one class can be considered grand. So, when will the full details of this project be unveiled? Surprisingly candid reply for a mysterious project. Oh, the fucking class ranking. With a see you later, he leaves the classroom. His retreating figure resembles that of a third-rate villain plotting some petty evil scheme. I'd better head home too. I leave the building by myself. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? Tend to her injury. Stop her. Celebration. Ended. That's right. Her. What are you saying? Okay. I couldn't think of it. She's right. Is there anywhere other than the rooftop where someone could eat their lunch? Don't know why that one line was different, but okay. Cafeteria. Nanase. Accidentally. He was buried in the cemetery. Nanase. Question 5. Nanase. Ask Sumi. Question 7. Nanase. Question 8. Nanase. Have her write down my answer. Nanase. No, that looked right. I didn't see the first couple because I was just looking at the guide, clicking Nanase over and over. Hey, we did it! All right! She beat Nagamori. Here and there, a small commotion can be heard amongst the students. I feel as happy as if I'd been the one to get full marks. Gah! Crap. I was so busy with helping Nanase that I don't remember writing down a single answer of my own. As soon as the break begins, Nanase starts to reminisce about her battle. Yeah, we did an excellent work cheating on that practice test. Yeah, but that was cheating. Win is a win. Either way, this ought to put you in the top position. We can't afford to lose now. Nanase nods vigorously. Her self-confidence has probably gotten a boost out of all this. What's up, Senpai? Go with her. No thanks. Let me scroll down on my guide. Sorry, but no deal. Besides, you've been with me long enough to know, right? There's no way I could do something like that.
朝弱いもんね。
Something like every time. Okay. Yeah. Probably lunch by herself. Yeah. Talk about delicious food. Yeah, she came this way. Ooh, we're fucking throwing her under the bus. Yikes.
それでどこに？
She climbed up that fence over there and jumped down.
え？
She hurriedly runs over to the fence and looks down.
いないじゃない。
Oh, that's strange.
もしかして。
She begins to walk towards me with a look of suspicion on her face. Her stare is aimed directly into my face. Then she slowly grabs hold of my cheeks and begins to pull. Ow, that hurts! I hurriedly shake her hands off. What are you doing? It's not a
もし
mask.
かしたら美咲の変装かと思ったんだけど。
Like hell I am.
そうよね。ごめんなさい。
You know, I really think you did that deliberately.
それじゃあ、もしぼーっとしてて、いかにも何も考えなさそうな女の子を見たら、深山が探してたって伝えてね。
Look, I told you, she jumped down from here.
お願いします。
Emphasizing her request one more time, the girl, Yama, she had called herself, leaves the rooftop. Whew. I managed to pull one over on her using my awesome conversational skills.
ぼーっとなんかしてないよ。
Depends. I wouldn't say so, but, you know, the whole fact of, you know, being blind and, like, you know, not really having your eyes focused on one thing in particular because of, you know, the being blind thing. Someone could construe that as a blank look. A sorrowful-looking senpai makes her appearance.
ゆきちゃんひどいよ。
Was that an acquaintance of yours, senpai?
クラスメイトだよ。
Meaning that she's my senior. So why was she chasing you?
もしかしたらあのことを今でも怒ってるのかもしれないよ。
What thing?
小学生だった時にゆきちゃんの描いたウサギの絵にちょびひげ描いたこと。
I feel like we've seen that before, yeah. Nah, I'd better not. Sorry, but we'd better not. Oh, why are you making me feel so bad? She looks very dissatisfied. Actually, my granddad's dying wish for me was not to run in the corridors.
そうなんだ。だったら仕方ないよね。
For some reason, she seems satisfied with that explanation. At that moment, a gust of wind sweeps her hair up, causing it to dance in the breeze.
風が出てきたね。
Sure has. Oh, I told you she jumped off.
だったらどうして屋上から出てくるのよ。
She climbed back up. She put a lot of effort into climbing back up.
頑張ったよ。
Miyama-san sighs.
ごめんね、ゆきちゃん。ちょびひげはわざとじゃないんだよ。ちょびひげって何？
I'm telling you, that's not it. Miyama-san, just why were you chasing senpai?
掃除当番をサボってどっか行ったから。
We both turn to look at Misaki-senpai. She looks down, as if to escape our gazes.
ごめんなさい。
She hangs? She hangs her head apologetically.
まあ、今回は許してあげるけど。ごめんね、ゆきちゃん。この埋め合わせはするから。
Yeah, eternity, blah, blah, blah. I yawn repeatedly. Don't stop! I haven't had my coffee yet. I do have a cup of coffee sitting on my desk, but that's from yesterday. And I'm not that desperate to drink that. I yawn repeatedly while waiting for the chime to end at the end of fourth period. Since it's Saturday, this is the last period for the day. Since the rain stopped, I might as well drop by the shopping district on the way home. At last, the chime rings, and it's after class. I waste no time in slinging my bag over my back and leaving the classroom behind me. The shopping district is dressed in December's colors as I pass through, not buying anything but simply enjoying a relaxing walk. Looking at the showcases wrapped in Christmas decorations, I can really feel the end of the year approaching. Finally, the day grows late and I set off on the way home. I feel like we're not going to go through the hills. Take the usual route to school, because otherwise we'll run into Mayu. And there's no need for that, this route. Sleep. Gotta make good use of the time I'm given. Whoa, stop! Oh, you violated the law. I'm feeling extra sleepy today. Not least because I stayed up late last night. Collapsing face down onto the desk, I closed my eyes. I'm awoken by the sound of the chime and the noise of the classroom. Now then, time to get some food. I'd look around to see a swarm of my classmates flooding in through the door. What's more, they're talking about today's daily menu. I look at my watch. Lunchtime is about to end. God, I overslept! I hurriedly open my bag of bread. I stuff it into my mouth without even a drink. By the time I've somehow managed to swallow it down, most of my classmates are already back inside. I'm bored. As always, there's not a lot to do during lunchtime once I've finished eating. Usually I just sleep through it, but somehow I don't feel sleepy. Hey, now to say, let's do something. And by that I mean hitting the skip button. About to go home. Go to club activities. Fine. Let's go to club activities then. Yeah, see you later. I quickly turn my back on her and head out of the classroom. Club activities, huh? Walking down the empty corridors, I make my way towards the other school building, which I so rarely visit. Standing in front of the club room, I slide the door open. I know that he's there. The guy who had introduced himself as Hikami shows me a grin. You mean this, like, coming to the club room and, like, ignoring you cycle, or, like, the banal cycle of life? As always, I get the feeling that he and I aren't quite having the same conversation. I have no idea what, what? Rencontre fortitude? What? That sounds French as fuck, or it's a weird English spelling of a French word. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. Google. Recon. Am I spelling it right? No. I don't know why there's an N in there. It makes it look weird. Recon. Trade? Okay, definitely French.
Rencontre.
Rencontre. Okay, yeah, sure. Variant spelling of rencounter. Cool. Yeah, man, whatever. Oh, yeah, look at the use over time graph. It peaked in, like, 1830, and it's been, like, fucking down in the dirt since then. Think you're fucking fancy? You think you're better than me because you can use French? Alright, fuck you. Now then. Oh, that was his line. I just started thinking of Quebecois cuss words, so fucking tabarnak. Only if we keep it short. Yeah, but only if we keep it short. You gonna finally spill the fucking beans about eternity? Even though this is just an anomalous rencontre fortitude, I try using the words myself.
つまりは好奇心を煽るってことだね。必要はないけど好奇心を煽る。例えば君の友達2人が殴り合いの喧嘩をしている。
I mean, yeah. Yes, I'd want to know.
つまりはそういうことだよ。
As expected, I haven't got a clue what this guy's on about. Is he deliberately trying to confuse me?
そんなこと知ったって意味はない。でも好奇心を煽られるだろ。
I see. Maybe you're right. I decided to try to push the conversation forward for now.
さて、まずは君の悩み事を言ってごらんよ。
Is this what happens when I try to steer the conversation forwards? Well, that's fine. I'll answer his question and he'll move on. Now, what was it again? My concerns? That's not an easy question. Just what is it I'm concerned about? Friends? Friends? Is that what I'm concerned about? Well, let's go with that. It's not as if I'm concerned about it at all. As if I'm not concerned about it at all. Friends, I suppose.
そりゃまた驚いた。でも、それは嘘だね。
A lie? How would you know?
嘘じゃなかったら、僕は君に助言を送るよ。
What?
君は恋人を求めるべきなんだよ。
A girlfriend?
そう。目をつむって思い浮かべてみればいい。今、君が一番好きな人。
And you're not going to be able to find anyone. Who would that be? The one I love the most? This is ridiculous. Why should I have to try to imagine what he tells me to?
恥ずかしいなんて言ってる場合じゃないよ。君は求めるべきなんだよ。その人を。
I mean, he's not wrong, considering that we've seen the bad ends, and without like an anchor point to like return him from eternity, you know, he's just gone forever. So there's no such person.
ならよっぽど状況は悪い。それともなんだい？君は男友達と愛を育めるとでも言うのかい？
Uh-huh. What? You idiot. Just who do you think?
まあ、とりあえず僕も君のことを思ってあげるよ。でも、それが何の足しになるのかな？
Don't say creepy things like that.
もしかしたら足しになるかもしれない。そう無下に言うもんじゃないよ。とにかく君は異性を切実に求めるべき状況にいるんだ。それだけを分かってくれたら、今日のところはこれ以上話すことなんてない。
What a completely one-sided conversation. What was all that talk up to that point about then? Were you just messing around with me?
これ以上話して君をせかせるようなことになっては君自身のためにならないからね。僕はただ君と話をしたいだけなんだ。それで君に影響を与えてしまうなんてことはしたくない。
Okay. As usual, none of what he's saying makes any sense. Well, I guess it means there's no point in me staying here any longer.
いや、音を奏でてくれるのならまた話は別さ。
Would you keep talking if I did?
話は進まない。でも楽しい。
No, I'm only interested in hearing what you have to say.
なら残念だけど、今日はここまでだね。
Yeah, I'll be going home now. See you later.
追い出すみたいで悪かったね。好きなだけいればいいんだよ。
I've had more than enough of this place. And with that, I leave the club room. What an incoherent guy. Changing my shoes at the shoe shelf, I pass through the entrance hall and the deserted after-class courtyard and begin the walk home. Body modification surgery. Have lunch by myself. Go to club activities. Club activities, huh? Walking down the empty corridors, I make my way towards the other school building, which I rarely visit. Standing in front of the club room, I slide open the door.
よく来てくれた。
The guy who had introduced himself as Hikami shows me a grin.
一応僕に好意を持ってくれたって判断していいのかな。
You can presume whatever you like. I'm in no position to argue after coming all the way
よ
here.
かった。その方が話しやすい。本当ならもっと早く僕たちは友達になっておくべきだったね。実際それで僕たちはお互いを救うような結果になっていたかもしれない。
Possibly.
でももうあまりに残された時間は少なすぎる。それともその短い時間の中で2人で試してみるかい？
Yeah. Worth a shot. Try what?
どこまで相手を愛せるかをさ。
Oh. Spare me the jokes.
そういうことだよ。僕たちは友達でしかいられないんだ。まあ、君にそれ以上の意志があるなら、
Well, you can love a
僕は
friend.
答えてみてもよかったけどね。とにかく握手ぐらいはしたいな。
I extend my hand in silence. Hikami extends his hand too, and we shake.
よろしく。同じ目を持った友達。
Our hands come apart. What do you mean by same eyes, anyway?
同じだと思うよ。最近ますますそう思うようになった。
You think they look alike?
似てる似てないの問題じゃない。例えばこうだ。とても素晴らしい曲が2つある。どちらも聴いた人間の回顧心を激しく煽る感動的な曲だ。
Okay.
その曲は似ていると思うかい？
Well, I guess there are times that they do, and then times that they don't.
そういうことだよ。同じ感動を与えるけど形は違うんだ。
Yeah, but enough with the examples. I see your point, but I can't apply it in practice.
そう。でも僕も端的には言えないんだ。それをすると前にも言ったように君を必要以上にせかすことになるからね。
I'm fine with that. Just tell me the rest.
これで十分有意義なんだけどね。本当は。
Sorry, I guess I'm just thick-headed.
いや、いいんだよ。さて、昨日の続きから話そうか。
Sure,
つまり、君に今必要なものは人との絆ってわけだ。
correct. A bond, huh?
いつだって奇跡は人との絆が起こすものなんだ。それが今の君を救ってくれる唯一のものなんだよ。でも僕は絆なんて求められるほど人が好きじゃないんだ。
Hell yeah, same, bro.
ただこういった状況になって初めて君とだけは友達になりたいと思ったけどね。君ももう少し時間が経てば分かってくれるんじゃないかな。
You and I think in completely different ways, so I doubt I'll ever understand.
まあそれだっていい。もとよりこれは余興なんだからね。
An anomalous rencontre fortitude, right?
そう。あまりに僕が影響力を持ちすぎてもいけない。だから会うのは次で最後にしよ
That's pretty sudden.
う。それも君が会いたかったらの話だ。
Okay, I'll come again.
いや、最後はここにいないかもしれない。
Huh?
最後くらいは探してほしいんだ。それぐらいしてもらわないと僕だって気が引ける。ここまで深入りしてしまったことにね。だから探してほしいんだ。特別な日に。それでやっと僕も君に影響力を持ってもいいと考えるよ。
Alright, if I feel like it, that's what I'll do.
うん、待ってるよ。いつものようにね。
So he seems to be a little further along the eternity path than us, you know. He's like in the January, February, March part where people are just like forgetting he exists, and he's like fading. Having heard those words, I choke. I leave the club room. Give me a sec. Alright, I'm alive. Barely. Give up and let her eat. No need for that, Mio. Thank you. Morning circles. Morning circles, for example.
何その〇〇〇〇〇って
Ah. I mean, it actually was just circle, 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 circle. Weird. Okay. Ah, sheesh. You sure are ignorant when it comes to this kind of thing, aren't you? It's where I put this part in your...
何言ってるんだよ。そんな変なことできるわけないよ。
You know, in foreign countries, the servant girls do this for their king.
いつから私は公平の召使いになったんだよ。
No, that's not what I mean. You could just do it out of goodwill, you know, pity fuck.
まだ寝ぼけてんじゃないの。ほら、早く顔洗ってきなよ。
She places my bag and uniform on my lap. Ch. Pulling away from the bed, I carry them downstairs. Lunch by herself. Oh, lunch with Nanase? Okay. Right then, Nanase, let's eat. Senpai, warm me up. Hello, Mio. Goodbye, Mio. Hello, Mio. Goodbye, Mio. No. No, I haven't. What are we asking? Study properly.
してないって全く？
I mean, if you don't know it now, you will never know it, so, you know. And what is a test if not, like, a test of your knowledge at this current time? So, what's the point of studying extra? It's not like it'll change anything. Yeah, of course not. There's no need for it if you've been listening in class. Preach, King, preach!
それは私のセリフだよ。公平は普段から聞いてないから直前が重要なんじゃないの？
Oh, yeah. Of course I've been listening.
いつも寝てるよ。起きてるときは七瀬さんと遊んでるし。
Oh, that's not true.
ああ、もう心配だよ、心配だよ。こんなことだったら昨日勉強を教えに行ってあげればよかったよ。
I'm not that much of a kid. I'm telling you, I'll be fine.
私まで集中できなくなりそうだよ。
Now, stop worrying so much. Once you see my results, you'll realize you've been fussing over nothing.
ならいいんだけど。
Go with her. Yeah, you're being bullied. Don't take her seriously. Yeah, gotta go and cool that messed up heroin delusion head of yours.
何よ、私の勘違いだっていうの？
Of course, we're living in reality here. Just what sort of plot, by what kind of culprit do you think you've been dragged into?
まあ、犯人っていうのは言い過ぎだけど、誰かが私を狙っていることは確かだと思うの。
Yeah, you're correct. I really don't think letting her set me some pointless tasks just so she can play the tragic heroine. I don't feel like.
助けてくれないの？
Are we? I don't know. Yeah, we'll help you. Nagamori. Go home with Nanase. I'd better not.
とにかくお願い。
For now, let's bring in some reinforcements for our
そん
investigation.
なことできるの？
I've got a talented subordinate working for me. Namely Nagamori. I'll kill you, damn it! Guess I've got no choice. I'll have to try doing that for a while. I'll kill you, damn it!
ねえ、聞いてるのよ。水香、なんて言ってたの？
I'll kill you, damn it!
何言ってるの？
I'll kill you, damn it! Check the desks. Oh, wait. Fuck! No! No! I fucked up. I was supposed to hit give up first. Fuck. Let's see if I can salvage this, because I really don't want it. I haven't saved in so long. No! Hey, this guy left all his textbooks here. Taking it easy, I see. Let's hit give up again once. Still, I'm not done investigating just yet. Check. 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 Give up. I'll kill you, damn it! Hopefully that was good enough. I don't know how those points are distributed. Oh, I can't scroll down any further because I've hit the bottom of the guide. Amazing.
そんなこと言うために呼んだの。
Yes. I'll kill you, damn it!
来るまで戻ってこない。
No, I should restrain myself.
そうだ、公平。
Yes, please. Get Nagamori to tell me the key points. I'll kill you, damn it!
公平、なんてこと言うんだよ。チェックポイントありがとう。汚い字で。
Her words are directed at me. Oh, so, you worked it out. Yeah. Not to say, ignore her. I've got some candy. Hey, come to think of it, I've got some candy. I pinched these from the tea ceremony club room. Now, they're kind of old now, though. I wonder if they're still edible. I mean, candy, it's usually just sugar, so it doesn't really go bad. I take out the paper bag, which I'm fairly sure contains them, and gently open the lid. Hey, come to think of it, I got those cookies Namase just gave me. Rustle, rustle. I take the pouch out from inside my desk. By the way, I've decided to dispose of the candy and forget that I've ever had it in the first place. And thanks for the cookies, Nanase. Taking a single bear, I lift it towards my mouth. Decline her offer. That's alright, you don't have to force yourself to come.
別に無理してないって。
Really?
私もどっか寄って帰りたい気分だったから。
Well, in that case, shall we go?
行こう。
Alright, let's get something nice to eat for once. Yeah, CDs, whatever. Club activities on our own? No? Go home with Nanase? Okay. Make an assault on her. In that case, come with me. In that case, come with me.
付き合うよ。
Just so you know, it's on today.
今日？
Yep, this evening.
急すぎるよ。だって私、沙織たちとパーティーあるもん。
Oh yeah, go for ramen. I got one with Sumi and the guys too.
何も無理することないよ。
But I want to eat it today. I might lose interest by tomorrow.
でも。
Make some time somehow. I'll do the same, so let's reach a compromise.
じゃあ、6時から7時までの間。
Okay, we'll meet up at 6 then. Are the front gates okay for you?
いいよ。
Sorry for forcing you to come along.
まあ、なんとかなるよ。
Yo, Nanase.
あ、おはよう。
おい、折原、すぐ体育館に移動だぞ。
Oh, really? Looking around, like a river flowing upstream, I see guys shuffling back outside the classroom. Well, let's go then. Principal speaks, the guidance counselor speaks, the head of the year speaks, and then we heave a collective sigh as yet another person takes the stage. It's that kind of boring closing ceremony. Still, considering that's the last thing we have to endure before the end of the year, everyone manages to bear with it. Besides, it's not as if there's a single person seriously listening to the talk, everyone's thinking about the holiday that starts tomorrow. Returning to the classroom, there's a brief wait before the last homeroom.
折原、今日予定入った？
Well, let's see. Enough to keep me from being bored.
夜も？
Yeah, Nagamori agreed to accompany me.
そう水香と
What's wrong?
うん
Looking up, I see Hige coming into the classroom with a bunch of printouts. Ooh, sorry, Nanase. Hey, Nagamori, you'd better come.
なんとか行くよ
Yeah, go to your party reeking of garlic. As homeroom finishes, I'm about to leave with Sumi and the others to celebrate when I suddenly remember something. I want you to search for me on a special day. That's what the guy called Hikami had said. How strange that I remember him now that the day has come, even though I haven't seen him in such a long time. Yeah, let's look for him. I go around the now empty classrooms, checking them one by one. But it's not an easy task to find him in a big school like this. Besides, there's no guarantee that he's actually here in the first place. He's not here. He's not here either. Finally, having tired of walking, I decide to head up to the roof to cool off my flushed face. Climbing the stairs on the 4th floor, I open the steel door at the top. And there he stands.
メリークリスマス
Had he been standing there all this time in the cold? Come with me, you idiot. You'll get diarrhea.
いやいいんだよここで
Skin looks pale, and his lips are changing color too. You're turning into a corpse.
ずっと前から死人みたいなもんだよ
Stop talking nonsense and come with me. I pull his arm. His hand feels cold too.
少し幸せだよ
Why?
絆というものを実感してる気がするから
Think this is a bond? I just can't abandon someone with a face this pale, that's all.
いやわかるよ僕には
He removes my hand with his fingertips, regaining his
だ
freedom.
って君はもう取り返しのつかない選択をしたんだから
I don't understand what you're talking about.
喋ったら少し暖かくなってきたもう大丈夫だ
That's a lie. Even now, his words are trembling. But with Hikami being more stubborn than he looks, it seems impossible to lead him away from here right now. In that case, it'd be better to just end this quickly by listening to what he has to say.
さて最後の話だね
So it seems.
もう僕は君に影響力を持ってしまってもいいと考えたその上で話すよ
Right?
君はこれから違う世界へと向かおうとしているね
I fall silent, or perhaps, more accurately, I'm at a loss for
どう
words.
してそんなことがわかるのか今から教えるよそれは誰にだって訪れる世界だからだよ
What do you mean?
だから僕にだってわかるんだよそれ何も君だけが幻想の世界に生きているんじゃない
Huh?
誰だってそうなんだよ
I mean, yeah.
すべてが現実なんだよ物語はフィクションじゃない現実なんだよ
What?
わかるかい言っていることが
Vaguely? I get the general concept, but if you asked me to explain it in detail, I wouldn't be able to. No?
じゃあ現実との接点を一つだけ提示しようか
Sure?
家族に大病を患った人がいないか
Yeah?
いつながったかい現実と幻想が
What do you mean? Maybe?
最後の話はこれで終わりだよそして僕は多大な影響を君に与えてしまっただからその責任はできる限り取りたい僕に残された時間は君のために君のことを思って過ごすよ思いが届くといいけどね僕の求めた最初で最後の絆だから
Alright, I'll be counting on it.
じゃあ僕は戻るとするよ最後の時間を過ごす場所に
Yeah.
さようなら
It's a whole month later when I received the news of Hikami's death. Given the condition, of his illness, it seems he was never in any shape to be out and walking around. Ever since becoming a second year, he had continuously been absent from school. Amongst all that, he and I met. I, who had the same eyes as him. And so, Hikami had departed first for the world I too would eventually be traveling to. World which everyone one day will visit. If this body of mine should by some miracle recover, I'll have to give thanks to Hikami, because it would be a miracle born from the bond between us. Two people in the same circumstances, having met within a short time. Now, I feel as though I could tell him, you're the fastest person I've ever become close friends with.
やあ、僕の思いは届いたかい?
Yeah? Okay. Now I'm even more confused about eternity. Fuck. Oh! What? Like, I get it, yeah, that eternity is like a metaphor for death. And... oh. Alright, I'm gonna need to let that one settle, but we did it, guys. We beat one. Wow. Complete. It's all done. We did it. Woo. Yeehaw. Oh, just about an hour too. Nice. It's a good thing I did cut through any of that dead air of me just skipping through choices, because otherwise it would have been like a 30-minute episode, which isn't a bad thing. It's just I like consistency, you know? Quality control, fucking awful. You guys missed a couple typos, but you guys did pretty good. But yeah, it's done. It's over. We did it. So next up, I'll finally have to brush the dust off my fucking Love collection on Steam and actually start up Photon Melodies. So, yeah, that's what's next on the docket, because I still have to do that. Epilogue? Nope, nothing. All right, well, once again, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you all on whatever series I'm currently recording now. If you're watching this in the future, I hope to see you all in a couple days for when we continue Love. So yeah, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell, ring a comment, make a bunch of burner accounts and just sub so my numbers get boosted. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you guys later. Bye.